Good evening. Welcome. Happy Monday to you. Entitled this podcast, I Love Me. And I wanted to just start off because I know that we are all human, right? And I know that we are just real people that go through real situations. And I just wanted to remind people that you have to continue to love yourself even on your worst day. Okay? Or we can add an S to that, the worst days. And I wanted to come because I was just talking it over with my husband. I was just thinking, just hearing of another situation where my nephew mom has passed away. And I was talking to my niece, and um, she had to bury her brother, and she had to bury her mom with less than 6 months apart. And I was just thinking, and she had impressed upon me during the conversation. She said, Auntie, I'm not doing it like I did it before. Right now, I'm just going to relax. I'm not going to be stressed. I'm not going to run myself ragged. And I said to her, good for you. But it also brought to my mind that why do most of us only love ourselves on the good days, and on the bad days, we withdraw. We withdraw and we get stressed or even depressed. And I know for a fact that I have dealt like that. I have dealt with myself like that, where I've gotten stressed, I've gotten depressed, I've got angry, and these are emotions. These are situations. These are situations of getting through. Right. This is sort of like a fight or flight. How do we handle things? Some of us withdraw. Some of us get stressed out. Some of us get loud or get silent. It all depends on the emotion, how you're feeling, or how you're seeing the problem or problems that you're dealing with. But why do we treat ourselves less than when going through a tough time? Are we not worthy of the love that we deserve through the tough times? And so this is a really a mindset, right? It's a change. It's a mind change. It's how do you approach the problem? How do you see the problem? It can be the worst problem, but how do you approach the problem? Are you going to approach the problem being stressed, confused, um, uh, not fully understanding the situation, or if you fully understand the situation, continue on to get stressed out, even though it's out of your hands? You know, it has taken me years in order to deal with the very thing that I'm bringing to you today because I was not one that dealt with stress easily. And I do still have my moments because, right, I'm human, but I do it differently as to not stress myself out, get headaches, let my body shut down, or allow my body to shut down where I am just no good to not myself or anybody else around me. So I figured we're all different, right? So why don't we handle our tough times like our best times? Remember, it's a mind change. You're flipping it. So why not shrug our shoulders and say, well, in this moment, and be with the moment and say, you know what is happening right now? I can either sit with it, or I can get upset, I can get mad, I can get depressed or stressed, or just shut completely down. And instead of seeing the sun, or the glass half full of sunshine, and just on your good days, like you're so upbeat, why not change that mindset and say, you know what, I'm going through a problem. This is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change my mind to not accept the negative reactions that I normally would do. So and to be honest with you, because I've tested it on myself, it's simple. It's changing the mind to not I mean, you're not sort of tricking your mind, but what you're doing is you're saying to yourself, I don't have to react like this. Why am I reacting like this? This is normal. This is what I've done for over 10, 12, 20, 30 years. And it hasn't worked. I'm still stressed. I'm on pills. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I have to do this to relieve my stress. That's crazy, right? And then when you finally look and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it differently this time. Love yourself even in the bad or the worst time, right? You're ready to deal with you're put it like this. When you're ready to deal, you'll be more relaxed and still enjoying life as if the problems are already solved. And even though I don't handle it today, because a lot of times when we get a problem, we want to rush and hurry up and solve that problem. And we're not totally equipped to handle the problem. That's what causes us stress or shutdown or depression because we don't know how to quite handle it because we're rushing because the problem has presented itself. But I say to you and I challenge you to sit with it. Say, you know what, I can either do this or I can do that. But right now I'm gonna do it differently. Maybe I'll pick this up. This problem was presented to me on today. I'll get to it on Wednesday or Thursday. Why does it have to be that important for you to be able to handle it right then, especially if it's something that's not that important? Why do we rush to be stressed? Why do we rush to be depressed? Why do we rush to do these things? And you have to say, I love me over everything. I'm not going to stress myself out to the point to where I'm not handling the situation as it comes, but just sit with yourself. Sit with yourself to where you are and you're saying to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna get to it. I'm not gonna react like I used to react. I'm not gonna allow anybody to call my phone and get me stressed to the point because they have presented a problem and they're not able to solve the problem and they want me to solve it because they're so used to me solving, but they don't see the part that where I have to deal with the stress all day and every day. I learned that from my niece today. And I appreciate Brandy for that. She's going through a tough time having to bury her mom, where she just buried her brother a few months ago. Okay? So when she said that today, it just sparked something in my mind to say, we don't have to handle things right now. With her, I'm not going to handle the funeral home right now. I called the funeral home, and right now she told me I take my time, and I needed that. She said, Auntie, I needed that. And I said, hey, you don't have to rush and do everything. You're not solving the problem. Your mom is gone. God rest her soul. But right now, you don't have anything to prove to anybody. You never did have anything to prove. And you go at your pace. And she said, yes, ma'am, that's what I was going to do. And the best part about her is her husband, too, and they work together. And I love the way that they solve the problems. I love the way that he sort of relaxed, but at the same time, he supports his wife. And I love that about their relationship. They're a young couple. And of course, I'm a cheerleader for all couples that are good couples that's doing it, when I say not necessarily the correct way, because it's all different types of way to love on each other and to do everything that you need to do, but the communication to be able to understand when one is going through something, to be able to step back and allow them to in their emotions to be where they are. But right now, you can't bring the dead back. So be with it, process it, understand the situation. It's not a problem, where everybody is calling you and wanting you to solve a problem. And the problem is already solved. Now, if you handle the business part of it, you can. It's gone. The situation and the person is gone. They're not coming back, and they're not going to be mad at you the way you handle the funeral or whatever you choose to do. You have to do what is comfortable for whatever you're doing as the living, you know. And of course, I had given her my advice and everything, and um, she doesn't necessarily have to go with what I say, but she's wiser from the last situation that she had to deal with in burying her brother. And I am so glad. And I told her, I said, Granny, I'm so glad to hear what you're saying right now. It just makes me smile. And I wish I could hug you through this phone. But it was just the fact that she is awakened to understand that you don't have to immediately solve problems, right then and there as they come. So when you're dealing with situations, you still have to love yourself, right? The name of this podcast is Love Yourself Even on Your Worst Day. You have to know when to pull back. You have to know when to go forth. But when you pull back, you understand that all types of people are going to come. They're going to show their emotion. They're going to say, well, this is not the way you reacted before. But when you change up on people, you understand, and that people, including yourself, because it's a mindset of not trying to be to try to deal with the stress as you've dealt with stress and depression as before. Approach the problem just like you were having a good day. This is out of my hands. I just cannot handle it today. It's just that simple. Honestly, it is. And I learned this years ago. And yes, I've fallen back into the trap sometimes because of some things that are out of my control. And if you know me, I tend to be that person that want to get things done right away. And you know, I'm just that person. I want to be able to correct whatever it is. But then I had to sit down too because it was causing me stress. I told my husband, I don't want to have no heart attack. Worrying about somebody else's business, and you try to handle somebody else, they give me the problem. All of a sudden, they sitting back with their arms folded, doing nothing while you stressing. That's not going to happen. So I say to you, and with this broadcast today, that love yourself even on your worst day. And loving you is not a bad thing at all. We all do it differently, approach the problem differently than you have in the past 5, 10, 15 years. That means that on your worst day, treat it as if it's your best day and go about your day. And with that said, I appreciate you. Thank you for all those who are on board listening and watching. Well, you haven't watched, you just see my face. But I appreciate you and thank you so very much. And as always, peace and blessings. Bye bye.